Kachka, Kinga Kachka, goes on the outside for Poland. The 23-year-old has only run 54.1 this year. Her lifetime best, though, is 52.0, so she may improve her season's best here. Amila Rowe of Australia, third in their championships, just 18 years old, the Aussie. She goes in lane 8. Her first race in the Northern Hemisphere this. She's got to be nervous. Gabby Scott of Puerto Rico goes in lane 7. 51.06. She ran on the 19th of April, but she's a 50.5 athlete, is Gabby Scott. There's Evelis Aguiar, 32 years old. She's improved massively this year. 49.80 at altitude in Bogota back in early April. She only made the quarterfinals in Paris, 52.8 last year. Natalia Bukowiecka, there she is. A real star of Polish athletics. Twice Olympic silver medalist in Tokyo 21 in both relays. She was second in Doha recently. That was only 3 weeks ago or so. 50.92. Good lane draw too for her in lane 5. Svetlana Urszatic, another Polish heroine. European champion back in 2018 in Berlin. She's run 51.2 this year, within a second of her lifetime best. Lauren Gale of Canada goes in lane 3, 51.0 this season, but she's a 50.4 athlete at her best. That's a good lane draw for Gale. Lada Vondrova, the Czech, European under-23 champion back in 2021, the former footballer who goes in lane 2. And then Anastasia Kush, just 18 years old. She ran leg 3 at the World Indoors in Nanjing for Poland when they took the silver medal in the 4x400 meters. She's already got big experience just a few weeks ago in China in a global championships. Our season's best, though, Kuz in lane 1, just 53.06. She has run 51.8. That was last year. So Kuz in 1. Lada Vondrova, former European under-23 champion, in 2 for the Czech Republic. The Canadian Gale in 3. Svetlana Urszatic in 4. Watch her. Can she find her best form? Natalia Bukowiecka goes in lane 5 for Poland. Favorite, I guess, here. Aguilar of Colombia in 6. Puerto Rican Scott in 7. Rowe of Australia 8. The Pole Gachka in lane 9 on the outside.
Third.
Well, Bukowiecka loves to run aggressively. Her season's best 50.9. She ran 48.9 last year at the London Diamond League. There she is in the all-red centre of picture. She's gone off pretty hard, moving up alongside Aguilar of Colombia. Svetlana Urszatic has got a lot of work to do at the moment in lane 4. Going well, Scott of Puerto Rico out in lane 7. She eases past Gachka, the youngster, out in lane 9 in the yellow. But a nice balanced race from Bukowiecka so far. Brilliant running in lane 3 from Gale of Canada. What an aggressive 300 she's run so far. She hasn't broken 51 seconds this year, but she might have to here. Now she begins to tread water as Bukowiecka, who's judged this one perfectly, moves through in the red there in lane 5. Going away from the field, a real battle royal for the minor places. She wins it 50.45. Brilliant run from Lauren Gale, who just started treading water over the last 50 or 60. And then great running and a real battle for third place there towards the outer lanes. But what time has she been confirmed with? 50.44 there for Natalia Bukowiecka. It is a big season's best for her. She has run a second and a half quicker than that, so there's so much more to come. But that puts her up in about 15th place on the world rankings this year. Very, very competent indeed. You know, Hannah, one of the features of her racing is she runs beautifully balanced races. She stays strong down the home straight. And that skill of spreading your strength and ability throughout the full distance eludes so many athletes.
No, Bukowiecka, she's always reliable in that last 50 metres. That's a big chunk off her season's best. And she seems to measure the season well as well. It's not only each race, it's as we move through every month and you get closer to a big championships, she just rounds into form. And I think Bukowiecka was part of those relay squads for so long that were picking up medals. And then there was just a change in her attitude a couple of years ago. And she went, no, look, I can get my individual medals. And she almost had to take a step back from her relay commitments to kind of unleash that form and be able to get herself on global podiums. And she picked up a small injury indoors, if you remember as well. She was due to do a full...
The women's 400 meters at the 2025 Arena Śląska Memorial in Bydgoszcz stood out as one of the most electrifying one-lap races of the early season, combining raw speed, tactical intelligence, and the emotional weight of a home crowd witnessing a defining performance. With a deep international field assembled in Poland, the race was more than a routine meet. It was a statement about who is ready to shape the 400M narrative in 2025. From the opening strides, the intent was unmistakable. Several athletes committed aggressively from the blocks, turning the first 200 meters into a test of bravery as much as speed. Svetlana Urszatic, known for her fearless early pacing, attacked the opening curve, immediately stretching the field and forcing everyone else to decide whether to respond or stay disciplined. This early surge ensured that the race would not settle into a controlled rhythm. The athlete who read the situation best was Poland's Natalia Bukowiecka, running out of lane 5. Rather than matching the early chaos, she executed a near-perfect first half. Relaxed shoulders, long strides, and smooth transitions through the curve. Her body language alone suggested confidence and patience, the kind that comes from an athlete who understands exactly when the race begins to belong to her. Canada's Lauren Gale injected further intensity with a daring push through the first 300 meters. Her move briefly disrupted the hierarchy, pulling her ahead of more established names and lifting the overall pace to a level that punished any technical inefficiency. Meanwhile, Gabby Scott stayed composed on the outside, maintaining contact through the backstretch and positioning herself as a serious podium threat as the field entered the decisive phase. Everything changed on the final bend. As the early leaders began to tighten and lose stride length, Bukowiecka shifted gears with remarkable calm. Without any visible strain, she rolled past her competitors, her cadence remaining intact while others fought the lactic acid. The roar from the stands amplified her surge, transforming control into dominance. Over the final 80 meters, the gap widened, not through desperation, but through efficiency. This performance underlined Bukowiecka's evolution from a reliable relay runner into a true individual force. It was not just fast, it was intelligent, composed, and authoritative. In a race loaded with ambition and early season hunger, she delivered clarity. The women's 400 meters in Bydgoszcz was fast, dramatic, and unforgettable, but above all, it announced that Natalia Bukowiecka is no longer emerging. She has arrived.